Blencowe Resources says its Orom-Cross Graphite Project in Uganda has been selected as the exclusive supplier of natural flake graphite for Project SAFELOOP, the European Union's flagship Gen 3 battery initiative. For more, I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Mike Ralston. So, Mike, what does this news say about the quality of what you have at Orom-Cross?
Well, in short, it says that we've got very high quality because that's why we were selected in the first place. The testing that's going on at the moment is just continuing to prove that again and again and again. And we're starting to see some really interesting things emerge from that, which is groundbreaking, as you can tell from this announcement. You know, we are seeing some very novel ways of producing an anode, which can have some far-reaching consequences.
OK, so explain the context of this latest announcement in terms of natural versus synthetic graphite and why this is important to Project SAFELOOP.
So Project SAFELOOP are delivering a Generation 3 lithium-ion battery. There are three things that they're focusing on: is safety, sustainability and high performance. So that's what they're really looking for in the battery. And in a typical battery, the anode is made up of a combination of synthetic and natural flake graphite. But for a number of different reasons, the majority of that is synthetic, and the minority, about 30% of it, is natural flake, which is what we've got. And it's due to performance issues, amongst many other things, why that ratio is what it is. But in very simple terms, because of the high quality and structure of our graphite coming from Orom-Cross, we're able to provide a high enough quality of natural flake graphite that has the same properties as the synthetic graphite, and it can take out the need for a majority of synthetic graphite in that anode, in that battery. So what we're seeing is a reversal of the 70-30 split, where natural flake will take over as the predominant mix. And that's extremely valuable, I guess, for the world in general, I guess for us in specifics, because it's just going to require more natural flake graphite, but it's going to be a more sustainable, eco-friendly battery with less synthetic graphite and more natural.
OK, so less synthetic, more natural. Now, if this shift occurs and the wider anode battery market adopts this, what does it mean for Orom-Cross and Blencowe?
Well, obviously, the Project SAFELOOP is one micro part of an entire market, and it's big enough to take up all of our production on its own if it starts to ramp up to the numbers they're expecting. So very, very good for us. But if this gets adopted into a wider context within the market, and different parties beyond SAFELOOP start asking for a similar type of anode, which is predominantly natural flake, using the high quality Orom-Cross graphite concentrate, well then, as you can appreciate, it has huge implications for us, because we're going to get many, many different off-takers wanting to do the same thing as SAFELOOP are doing. And that could create a massive demand for us going forward, multiple cornerstone offtake partners. Now, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're obviously in an early stage, but the work that's being done by the team within SAFELOOP is very, very positive. And as I say, it has big implications for us.
And they've got you in their sights as well. You mentioned production there, and you said we're not quite there yet because the drilling campaign's nearly finished. How's this going, and what value are you hoping it's going to add to the company?
Well, I think one thing for certain is we're going to see a whole lot more in our JORC resource. So we're going to improve the 25 million tonne JORC resource up to something a lot higher. I can't obviously sit here and tell you exactly what it'll be, but it'll be a lot larger, not just in terms of resource, but in terms of reserve. And the implication of that for us is that it means we can deliver higher tonnages within the study and in production, because we'll have more reserves, and we can deliver higher production volumes on an annualized basis for a longer period of time. So the mine life extends as well. And both of those will have a huge impact on our overall NPV within the definitive study. So yeah, it has a big impact, and we're nearly there. It's taken a while. Usual story with these things. There's always sorts of challenges, but I think we're getting very close, and we are in the process now of putting some very deep holes in to just see where this graphite deposit extends to, because it's always been open at the 30-odd meters where we've finished our previous holes. And it'll be very interesting to see if it continues down to 100 meters, and that obviously showcases what a huge deposit Orom-Cross is.
Okay, you say that we're nearly there, and since I've been interviewing you over the past few years, you've made great leaps and bounds. The definitive feasibility study, closer. Any idea how close we are getting to completion of that important bit?
It's a very good question, and everybody always asks me because I don't know if people think that we have literally, it's like a date, like a birthday or something, where you say, okay, it's going to finish on the 14th of October or some 12th of September or some definitive date. It doesn't work like that. We are working as fast as we can to get everything done. And a number of things within that are relying on third parties. For instance, in order to get samples out of the country in Uganda to get assayed, you have to get export permits from the government. Now, that is against their law, so you have to get special permission. And that requires obviously going and lobbying to do it. And there are many different aspects within the study itself. We are now involving and producing a downstream processing option, and that's involved us working together with a third-party expert that obviously does that. So all of these things that we've had to bring into the study create further complexities, but we deal with it because that's our job. And I guess it's a roundabout way of saying it's obviously a little bit delayed, and I understand that, and it's not great because no one wants a delay, but we're working very fast to get it done as quickly as we can. It's near term. It's not going to be forever, that's for sure. It's months at best, but reality is we're going to be getting it done as quickly as we can. And more importantly, we're going to do it to the best of our ability to show what a great project Orom-Cross is.
Well, I tell you who else thinks the project is great. It's fascinating to me because we are in a world of deglobalization. Barriers are going up, frontiers are going up, but yet you've got funding from the US. You're making deals with the EU. This surely must be a USP and a pat on the back for you and the company.
Look, all of these things are good. But at the end of the day, we've got to deliver a project. They're all part of the project. And you're right. I mean, there's some very novel things in there that we're quite proud of. But, we've got a very unique project. It has the fundamentals which make it stand out. And because of that, a lot of people want to be involved in different ways. We've got to bring it all together and do our job and deliver a project that really, I guess, highlights why Orom-Cross will be one of the first and probably only graphite projects to go into production henceforth. And when we do that, then we've got some big value adding, which is going to happen in the near term. So, I guess people can look out for that as we go forward.
Superb. Thank you very much, Mike Ralston. As ever, a pleasure. Thank you.